What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell just as sweet. It's for everybody losing their frickin' mind over the way they name heroes. I will lose my frickin' mind over plenty of other things this week on Outcast Haven Podcast. So let's call an apple an orange, an orange an orange. Well, I don't know what the saying is. I don't remember sayings. Spade a spade, heart of heart. So people lost their mind over Taylor, whatever. She's a seamstress. She's not even a tailor. She's a seamstress, number one. So you're all wrong. Number two, it proves my point that
Taylor.
They did mean dreaded drip dick, and they meant penis is what you need. So those two things are now facts, with the community saying that, you know, Taylor's a tailor.
There's one thing. There's a genuine gripe I have with the whole naming, in the naming sphere, not with LSS. But like,
okay,
people that say that they like the tongue-in-cheek names. It's like, it's not tongue-in-cheek. It is just on the nose. Like it's a fun.
There is no tongue-in-cheek. Yeah, I mean, bravo.
Like,
bravo.
Right,
bravo.
like,
I mean, it's there.
Yeah. So if that's what you're expecting, because I saw someone comment or post or something about like how, you know, it's tongue in cheek until they do it for every third hero. It's like, yes, but I mean, they do it for that many heroes, so it's not tongue in cheek. And now you don't need to post and complain like that.
This is gonna be the fun part of the podcast. We're just gonna fire off with fun stuff right off the bat here.
All right.
So
next?
Taylor, we're gonna talk about Taylor. Not Taylor Swift, but we can talk about Taylor Swift. I mean, if we want to do that at the end of the podcast, we can add that in there. There's a couple songs I like of her, you know, little whatever. So anyway,
she's a new girl, so gotta love that.
Yep. So number one, please stop. Give us some adult heroes that we can have fun with in CC. I'm sick of them making all these fun heroes. Like, I love playing fun heroes. I love Cheyenne. I love just building decks that are jank and playing with those heroes. Give us some of those in CC once in a while. There's nothing wrong with giving us a cool hero that we can try to long game with. That's fun. That's number one. A little bit of a gripe. Number two, and me and Blake already had it out on this one in chat, I cannot fucking stand the way they're giving this card away. I'm sorry. I go to an event to play cards. I'm not there for dress up. If that's what you are there for, go to Comic-Con, okay? I'm there to play cards. It's one of the reasons why I left Force of Will, is because I didn't want to sit across somebody with their fucking magic gloves on, with their little tails and things flying all over the place. I just want to play cards. I want to have some
you're
fun.
Such a curmudgeon. Let them enjoy it how they want to enjoy it, dude. Like, if someone
I understand that
the game
fine.
playing with their gloves,
so enjoy
and
it
and all that.
Correct.
Like,
so that's fine. So enjoy it that way.
Why does happiness bother you so much?
No, what bothers me is those are the people that get this card, not a person that just shows up, supports the game, comes to a bunch of their events, pushes it, community member. You don't get it because you're wearing jeans. So why would you wear jeans? This is
Jason
you get no tailor for you. No tailor for you.
No, everything needs to apply to Jason. Jason gets all the things. He wants all.
It applies to 99% of the people from the callings I've been to. I've seen 4 people dress up. Those 4 people get the cards. The rest of us are screwed.
Jason and I already disagreed about this, because like I have zero issue. Number one, because I don't think it's like a relevant hero anyway. Like, I don't even think it's as good as Shiana, because at least Shiana continues to get better as time goes by. 99% of the equipment in the game does nothing for her and interacts in no way with her deck. So basically, it's just one of those like weird janky ass decks that people are going to build, which is fine if you really want it. It's totally possible the card is worthless after a couple, events, and they start giving them away. But that's the other thing, is like, we don't even know that that's necessarily, they're only going to give them away to a handful of people. It's possible that if you just like put on a red jacket and you're like, I'm Bravo the showstopper, they're like, whatever, here's one. We've got 6,000 of them we're supposed to give away. Like, you don't even know how they're going to give them away. It's like, there's no reason to gripe about it now, because
I gripe.
You could get one anyway.
I am an old gripey man, and I will fucking gripe.
Yeah, we know that. Word. Heard that, Jason. No, I think it's cool. I think it's cool that they're like, I've never seen a game cater to like specific subgroups, like, you know, like this. Maybe Magic did. I didn't go to a ton of big Magic tournaments, so I could have easily missed something like that. But it's cool. I like LSS like throwing, you know, just doing special promotions like this that are so ingrained in the game itself. I would feel more worried if LSS was putting time and effort into not a card or like something else to give away, like hats to the cosplayers or something like that. It's like, why? That doesn't have anything to do with the game. This is a card. It's a promo.
So you're cool. Against them accessorizing their outfits, Dane? That's horseshit, Dane. That's why do you got to be a curmudgeon like that? They're trying to accessorize, and you're fucking against it.
See, it's so funny.
I can't believe this shit. I can't even believe we can still talk now. I can't believe this shit.
So annoying. God damn it. He's annoying.
Dane is clearly anti-hat. Look at him.
So
he's the only one not wearing a hat.
Yeah, you're so anti-hat.
I got a haircut like 2 weeks ago, and it's the first. I think
2 weeks ago.
I think if you look back through podcasts, that this week and last week are the first two podcasts since we maybe started that I have not worn a hat. So fuck right off, both of you.
Dane's recently anti-hat.
So
super anti.
This was his plan. He was building his entire argument around the hat.
The lack of
took
hat.
It off right
I was
away.
doing a subconscious thing, and now you fucked it all up, guys. God.
I just my whole point was I like playing weird cards like that, and I hope that they give it out to more people than dress up time. That's all I'm saying.
Time, Jason. You know what? I guarantee.
I'm gonna have I'll have a pretend tea party in the back, and maybe they'll give it to us. We'll bring little cups and we'll pretend to have tea.
See, if you go and buy a dress, I guarantee that you could walk in and be like, "I'm Cheyenne," and they would be like, "Here's your promo."
And I'm not gonna do that.
Just bring a green shirt and bring a green skirt, and you're good to go. You can like.
Jason,
like
you know what? We'll
even
let you call it a kilt so you can feel manly. Yeah. Okay, like you can still be your big tough guy. You could be a big tough guy. We know you're
not going to be a tough guy. It's just I don't want to dress up. If I wanted to dress up, I would be dressed up right now. If I wanted to,
why?
Because I'm an adult.
Sound like a lunatic.
Have you ever heard Lewis Black? The Lewis Black thing, you know, with the whole dressing up and coming to work, showing up as I'm Batman, because I'm an adult. It's hilarious. Look it up. Anyway, so let's talk about Taylor. So I know both of you before we came on. I'm a fan of her, and the reason I'm a fan of her is
the only thing you can say right now is you're a fan of her because she's unique or she's cool. Not because she's good. You can't say that.
So here's my deal. You get 10 pieces of equipment, right? 10 pieces of equipment.
Basically, yeah, with Talus.
Yeah. So I'm gonna run one of the hammers, and then I'm going to run probably like
hammers or weapons.
Yep, like a tectonic plating, followed up with a.
What does tectonic do for you?
It gives me a 2 block and a 1 block, and then I replace it with.
Just gives you a 2 block, and then you replace it.
No, it's into 1 block.
Oh yeah, never mind. Yeah, you do get the 1 block on that.
And then I put out Husk.
Yep.
So that gives me 9 block there, and then I'll probably run Perch Grapplers because it's one of the only free 2 block legs in the game.
Yep.
Right, and then I'll run everybody. I mean, you run Grass, and then what you said, Dane, into your.
You're
gonna have to run
Crater Fist.
It's Crater Fist, and then you block once for 2 with it, and then replace it with Grasp. Yeah.
And then helmets. I mean, I don't even know what you'd run there yet. I haven't looked that far. But here's why I like her. Here's the deck I'm building with her. I'm running a total of 8 red cards. I'm going 2 Exudes, 2 Fire Breathing, 2 Fates, 2 Sinks. The rest of my deck is blue with 2 Remembrances.
So the only reason she's better than Kav Dane is because she gets extra block?
Yes, because you're probably getting an extra 9 health. So you're making her almost a 30 character.
Right. So but
because you get the tectonic plating in the Husk. So I'm getting 9 extra health there. And I don't have to spend a resource. So I'm not saying it's great here. I'm just saying I like the idea and I could have fun with this deck.
Only if you wear your dress, though.
Right.
It's
So I'll
also-
never get to experience it. I'll never get to experience the whole Taylor Swift experience.
It's also
never-
Blitz. So
Yeah.
I had my 2 weeks of Blitz. I'm ready to go back to construct.
I'm over
Wait,
And that goes back to my first point of please just make a promo of an adult hero. It can be fun. We can have fun with adult heroes.
So the issue with I think the issue with like the adult hero thing is you immediately have to like test the hell out of it. You know what I mean? Like if this let's say in some weird world, right, in like 2 years, Taylor is the most broken Blitz hero. Who cares? It's Blitz. That's not their high competitive game. They don't have $100,000 tournaments for it. So what difference does it make if she's broken in Blitz? Nobody cares about the balance in Blitz because
they don't need
everything
to,
is
they don't need
broken
to
in
think
Blitz.
about design space.
It doesn't
They
have to be
didn't do that
designed
with
well.
Bravo.
I mean, but right, I get,
Or
but again,
Seed Chain, or they'll figure it out once it happens, Blake. Once it happens, then we won't errata of it and we'll let her live in Legends out. It will be
So
fine.
Jason's argument is they have not been able to figure it out yet because of these examples. So
So
let's
just keep
add
going.
more chaos.
let's just
keep going.
Let's just
Let's
keep going.
Let's
Let's
see where
just
this
keep
let's see
going.
where this crazy world
Let's-
takes us.
You know what? No more fixing anything. Unban everything. I like that. Like, can we? So obviously, we're going to talk about the ban and restricted. Can we talk about the first and most important thing that people in the discussion leading up to it decided that the most important thing was not only should we talk about what should be banned, let's start unbanning stuff. People were like, let's do red seeds. Why not? Let's just bring it back.
That'd
like-
be so stupid.
Why? They're like red seeds, blue plunder run. We should bring back red drone. I'm like, can we stop this nonsense? Like, stop. Quit unbanning things. They were banned for a reason.
I mean,
No.
I do like the idea that stuff can become unbanned. I was actually chatting
Right.
with
I
the
said that
body.
that's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I was chatting with the body. It'd be cool if they had like an amnesty week or something like that, like once a year, where like in the lull of like the holiday season or something like that, they're like, everything's unbanned. Everyone, see what you can do to break some shit, and be like,
But see,
okay, cool. Well, Seeds chain is not an issue anymore. Fucking have Seeds back. But
Right,
I mean,
but here's the
obviously
thing.
that's an extreme
yeah.
example. But I'm just mean like, have there be like
Right.
an amnesty month where
I-
everything gets re-explored.
I think that they will eventually do some format like that, though, because every game that
Mhm.
we've played, Destiny did an infinite format. Magic has formats where things aren't banned or way less is banned. I think you get there eventually, but at this point, like, you can't have two different constructed formats because the game and the player base is too small to exist in that world yet. Like, it's growing well. Keep it. You want to keep things kind of self-contained for now, where like the formats are very different and very unique. But I think there's a world where one day you could have, and maybe that's the Legends format, right? Maybe once something gets, like, once we get Starvo to living legend status, once the next hero goes, they could theoretically now have a Legends format where the only legal heroes are the legendary heroes. But in that format, everything is free reign. You can play Siege Chain into Starvo. See what happens. Who knows? We don't care because it's a Legends format. We don't use it for a real competitive game. And then people could just ram each other, you know, they could just smash each other's
If they're gonna ram each other, then we call them Balls Deep Bravo with
Ball Lightning
yeah.
and Plunder Run.
Perfect. Yeah. Beautiful. What a beautiful thing. What are you running? Balls Deep Bravo. How about yourself? Seeds Chain? That's a dumb name.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going with.
Got to get something better than that. You can't even play the deck until it has a great name.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one thing I kind of miss. Like, I like
But
that.
there, once
Destiny-
again,
I like that Destiny, like people that were like world class players had deck names for their decks.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Joe Cologne, for anybody who didn't know, honestly sarcastic, Joe Cologne was a big Destiny guy. He created a hit and run deck. It was literally called Hit and Run, and the whole point of the deck was action cheaty and super fast. And then, what was the other one? They made the Snoke Mando. It was like the Snoke Troopers.
Yeah,
and it was just
there's some cool names, but anyways,
yeah, people had good names versus DBS, which we could take a quick shot at because everything was something coup. If Goku was the hero that they played, everything was something. It was life coup and death coup and hero coup and flip coup and snap coup and surge
It's like,
coup.
you
and you're just
guys
like,
are so good at
Can you just-
replacing Go. You're
Yeah.
real good at it.
What's the mechanic? It's the Mitch Hedberg joke, right? Where he's like, I want to be the guy who names appliances. You just say whatever it is and add What's this do? It keeps shit fresh. We'll call it a fresher. I'm going to lunch. It's like that. That's how.
R.I.P.
That's,
R.I.P. He was amazing.
love
God,
Mitch
he was
Hedberg
good.
so
Love
much.
Mitch Hedberg.
So
Oh,
good. So good.
don't even start. Like, I could just look up lines of his and just
I
read
know,
lines
it's
off.
so good.
Have you ever, and just to stay on him for a second, have you ever seen his uncut Comedy Central, one of his first ones? Like his humor was so dry but hilarious. Like half the
Oh, yeah.
audience didn't understand it, and they
Yeah.
had to like cut out a bunch and add laugh tracks. I'm laughing my ass off, and half the audience is
Right.
like,
Yeah.
what does he mean? I don't get it, because his delivery
Yeah.
was so
He-
good.
He had
You
a
had to
very
appreciate it.
strange presence too, because like he would
Oh
sit,
yeah,
most
he's
comedians
so
were
odd.
like really like lively and moving around, and he would just stand with his hair hanging in front of him and like sip his vodka soda and like talk with the microphone real soft, and it was
Yeah.
great. It was fantastic.
Look up Mitch Hedberg. He's a
Yeah.
Minnesota native. Unfortunately passed away quite a while ago, probably over 10 years ago now.
Yeah, it's been a long
yeah,
time.
he's hilarious. So yeah, so that's
Great
all the
comedian.
Taylor Swift talk for today. I believe her new album came up, so we'll just watch it to hit the top 40 here in the upcoming months. What else happened this week? So you guys want to go errata or
Yeah, I mean,
OOP? What do we want to touch?
I
All of
think
it.
Banned and Restricted is probably the
Yeah,
big
that's it.
thing.
Hot topic.
Yeah.
Blake.
I mean, first impressions when you saw it. First impression, Blake, when you saw Ban and Restricted.
I laughed. Go ahead. Sorry.
It was, yeah, I think it was just wow. It's like, wow. Mainly because I liked like LSS is known for always doing the explanations, but I thought it was just great that it's like we have this huge buildup to the article, and you click on the article and you're like, oh, it's finally up. Refresh, click, scheduled ban and restricted announcement, classic constructed, no changes.
My exact thing
Kiss.
was you put the grayed out box, like you said, for the buildup. So on their website, let's put the grayed out box of here comes a band. And you click on it. My exact thing that I said to myself out loud was, well, this is fucking stupid. Like, just at that point of the grayed out box, just be like, dude, we're not changing anything. We're not going to build this up to a nothingness. You don't build up to nothing. I mean, this isn't Seinfeld. It's not a build up to nothing.
This is
you
why
gotta have something.
I was so excited to see. I immediately, when I saw that, I immediately just like went to the Facebook fan page. It was just like, I'm not
just
refresh this like every 5 minutes.
Rage.
Yep.
I was just, oh my god, I was so for it. I like the fact that LSS is not hesitant, but just they are consistently not changing things a lot. Like they will make minimal changes, if any, consistently. You know what I mean? Like I like that. I like that a lot. I would rather them have done this than made like 3 major changes and have like people like, because do I think that Starvo is an issue? Yes. Do I think he's going to be gone by the time Pro Tour hits? Probably. And if not, I think that next Ban and Errata is going to handle that. But them not jumping the gun right now, like, because there's big events happening in other places in the world that they don't want to like cut the legs out from under. Like, I get that. Okay, fine. Would rather there just not be changes then. But I loved the fact that they still built it up and didn't say shit, and people got so fucking salty, and it was amazing and a reason that I like LSS more as a company. So
yeah,
I will say it gave me probably 8 hours of free time a week with that announcement between now and Pro Tour, because I immediately said, well, guess what? I ain't fucking grinding because I don't really give a shit now. I'm not going to grind for the unknown. I will play enjoyable games at enjoyable times at my leisure and not sit there and grind. Like I was fully prepared to grind everything, ready to go. And then that came on, I'm like, well, yeah, I'm not going to, I just got free time now. So I'm play some board games, get the Blood Bowl games in. And not, I will say I kind of am happy about that because there really is no reason to grind unless you just want to play other heroes just to see mechanics in case something crazy comes
That's what I'm
out,
gonna be doing. Yeah.
as a person who just plays every hero naturally and switches week to week, that's fine. I have an okay grasp, and once the new errata comes out 11 days before New Jersey, I can figure it out then.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing is like realistically it kind of puts everybody who was grinding in a weird spot where people who were pretty set on a deck now are just going to have to figure out what they want to do. Do you want to try it? 'Cause I think the interesting thought for a lot of people is there are people who are going to try to solve a format that they theorize in their head.
Yeah,
They're
that's
like
a
they're
horrible idea.
right. Their thought process is like, I'm gonna test as if let's test Viserai as if Sonata is banned. Let's test Viserai as if Scaletta is banned. Let's test Starvo as if it only attaches Guardian. And it's like there's gonna be so much mental energy poured into theoretical changes to the meta when we don't know what it could be. Where I think to Jason's point, what people should be doing is just trying to familiarize themselves with decks that they say, what decks would I play if nothing was changed or if a bunch of stuff was changed? Like, who do I think is not going to be hit in a significant way? So, for example, we've kind of had the conversation in like a Discord that we have with a bunch of Minnesota guys where I think people have kind of concluded that Chain is probably going to be a hero who will remain untouched. Or if he is affected, it will be something like Rosetta potentially being eroded, right? And if that's the case, Chain doesn't in style really change. He still plays the same way. The weapon at the end is just different. So why not?
For attack, it's just not split at that point.
Exactly. You probably play Nebula Blade. Maybe you play Galaxy Blade. I mean, I don't think you do, but like then you're just like, okay, well, we got to figure out what the best weapon is. That's fine. We can figure that out because that's such an insignificant part of what he does. Because there are plenty of turns where you just can't swing it if you're not using certain cards anyway. So I think the right thing to do is to familiarize yourself with decks that you don't know. So that way, like if you've never played Prism, now's a great time to figure it out. Like play a bunch of games with it just to get it figured out. So if you think it's the strongest deck, maybe you just play it, or play a deck like Chain that you think isn't going to get hit, or Dash. Pick a deck like Dash and just play it because hey, maybe you can find a good matchup into stuff that exists now, and if nothing gets changed, maybe it's a dark horse kind of thing.
Yep, I agree with that 100%. Or play board games in Blood Bowl, and just go to your armories once or twice a week and have some fun there. Don't have to play the broken deck. You can have another deck and just have fun with it.
Yeah,
it's okay. Okay to have fun, especially and I think we've all had this right with Blitz season. It's fun for the first week and a half, 2 weeks, and then at our skirmishes, and I mean he piloted it to perfection. But Nick brought the last one that you guys weren't at to Dreamers, and there was like 19, 20 people. He brought Viserai, and he's just killing people on turn 0 and 1, just freaking throttling people, and he sequences that deck beautifully. I mean, it's not like you just auto can sequence it. There's a lot of sequence he does, and a lot of tricks with glooming where he'll throw out a glooming and then spellbound and creepers and
read the runes.
Read the runes. And just like, oh, now you can't block Arcane, and I have Go again, and this is 4, not 3, and you probably should have blocked it. And there was just so many things that deck did that I watched him in the semis. He played Cortez. Cortez was on Chain.
Yeah.
Turn 0, he got all his equipment, the husk, and all his cards, and got him to 8 life on turn 0 with 4 cards in hand with Viserai. It was ridiculous. And I laughed because it was awesome, but it was,
So one thing that I thought was pretty cool, I don't know if you guys have watched the most recent Arsenal Pass gameplay where they played Dash, Viserai, and Blitz, and Aiden's Dash list is actually pretty crazy because the whole concept of the deck is by hopefully turn 2, you're set up to play, you have Teklo Pounder out, and the whole concept of the deck with Cross Strap is just to go boost, max velocity.
It's James White's deck.
It's basically James White's deck, but with T-Bones and
And
Teklo Pounder,
Teklo
it's
Pounder instead.
crazy because
Teklo
Teklo Pounder is
Mm.
just start with +2 in your first attack every turn. That's what it says. Does attack for +2 each turn, and then so he was just playing
the
straight
first.
up. Just
It's the
boost
first
dash.
time, first boosted attack
First
for
one,
3 turns is +2. Yep.
Yeah, and he output like 25 damage turns. Just like every game, they played like 3 games. Every game he had like one. He had like in the first 3 turns he just dealt 25. It's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool.
That's the, I mean, Blitz 40 card deck, super consistent. That's why Viserai can do it, because you can't do that in CC because you just can't draw those hands as consistently as you can in the Blitz format. And I mean, if they're probably just going to leave it the Wild West, there's no point in eroding too much stuff in Blitz. You just leave it the way it is and let people. I mean, they could make it best of 3 or pre-sideboarding just because the game's only take 5 minutes. If
please put 0 more effort into making Blitz any different.
Well, I'm just saying, as an entry point, if you're making that your entry point,
it's a clean entry point right now.
Right, a clean entry point that if you played against one of those decks your first time playing, you're like, okay, well, this isn't the game for me. That's what I don't like about that. They got to stop using that as an entry point. That's my thing. Like,
right. I think so. I think the one, I guess the one counter point to that is the fact that it's like the weird, it's that weird power level that you have to kind of find. They have to find a happy point, like that they're comfortable with, because the issue now is there's too many decks that kill you on turn 2 or turn 3.
There really is.
Or turn 0.
But then the issue becomes if you try to balance that, you have to balance so much. It becomes really hard to balance, and that's a lot of energy to do. If you don't balance it, it feels kind of bad that there's a lot of decks that do that, but at least there are a lot of decks that can do that and not just one.
Yeah, it just sucks because then you can't play the fun decks as much because you just get but actually, I'll be honest, when I played, Cheyenne doesn't do horrible into a lot of those decks because of the count she runs. I mean, I played Cortez in a fun game before it started with Cheyenne, and it did better than my Briar did into him because we ended up playing first round anyway. And Briar and Blitz right now is super weak. Like the other decks do more faster than what she can.
I think Briar's biggest issue she runs into is the fact that you have to get ahead and constantly take all their cards, and if you ever whiff on one turn, you almost auto lose because now you don't have your embodiment, so all your cards go back to blocking for 2, and they're going to play on their hand and get you behind, and you can't play Briar off of 2 cards like some decks can do some damage off of 2 to 3 cards.
Briar is not a deck where you can slowly win back momentum. That's not gonna happen.
No. It's just it's intended to be like a drag car right out of the gate. It's supposed to just put its floor, like put on the floor and just go. The problem is
we're also spending so much more time on Blitz than I care to right now that it's crazy.
You're just making a point of just after playing in the skirmishes, I would wish they don't use that as like this is your entry into the game of Blitz. Your entry in the game should be CC. The games are fast enough that I think just to learn the game, it gives you more time to learn and not just die in 2 turns.
That is super valid. I will say though that you can have a shitty CC match. Probably not like it just comes down to like being a responsible community member that's teaching a new player.
Right.
Like if the new player is sitting down across from you and you're like, I'm gonna play Benji turn 0 TK, or I'm gonna play a Ryan, like a KO that I'm just my only goal is to turn 0 25 dominate you. Like that, yes, it's not going to be a great look. But if you're like you're teaching, but you can run Oldham into somebody and just block them out and deck them after an hour and a half, and then same thing. They're like, what the fuck is this game? I
think to your point, Dane, you have to have some flexibility with it and approach it like at a skirmish. I get it. Go win. That's fine. It's got pricing. Go in the pricing. If you're playing in a Blitz
I don't
local,
mind that.
Yeah, 100%. I think to your point, Jason, it feels bad if you get beat. There is some onus on the community to like do a better job.
And I hope people do that.
Right. Yeah. I make a point, right?
People are going to be great. People are going to be shitty. So
when I play Blitz, I play Kano. I put a bunch of decks together for this skirmish season. I played all of them at some point, and I thought to myself, why am I doing this? I just want to play Kano. The problem is Kano can be super feel bad for new players who don't flip over Null Rune or know better. So I always just tell them before we roll dice, before we start, do you have Null Rune? No. Flip over 2 of your carts. The face down ones, those are going to be your Null Rune. You've got Null 2 now. Like, I'm not going to hold it against them that they just don't happen to have it in their deck box, that they don't know they're supposed to carry it. We'll already have 11 equipment. I don't care. Now you have 13 in this round. I'm allowing it. Like, I will make the decision. It's a casual event. You can have the extra Null Rune. It's like stuff like that is not a lot to do. You know, Dane
Convenient that
played
you
one
don't
game.
have them flip 3, Blake.
I mean, they can flip 3. I tell them based on what they can actually handle. One guy's like, should I do 3 then? I'm like, bro, your deck is all red. Like, you're not going to pitch to 3 anyway. You might as well have 2 pieces of equipment that are usable. If you pitch 3 red to me, you're going to lose anyway.
What were you going to say, Jason? Cut you off.
Not just moving off of Blitz onto just kind of the print runs. And another big discussion that happened was the 2.0, which was a huge, I read one thread where people were arguing because it's called phase 2 that they're coming out with. And it only has to do with their
distribution model, right?
Distribution model.
Yep, distribution model. So I personally think it's a good time to change. Unlimited was needed for in my opinion, WTR, Arc, and Crucible, because the player base grew so much right there, and there was a lot of staples, Sync Belows, Fate for Scenes, Unmovables, East Strikes, Command and Conquers, Art of Wars. I can go on and on. Staples that decks needed. So Unlimited was needed because the print run was so small of those original boxes. Now we're to a point where they said Monarch was 125,000, and that was also one of the last sets that we saw people really hoard, and you couldn't get product because they bought so much of it. I'm guessing Tales of Aria is going to be a lot more, and Everfest is a lot more. I think Everfest has been the best release from the standpoint that, one, the product is still available, so you can still go buy packs. You can still pull cold foils, because I hate buying unlimited packs. I think it's the worst feeling ever. You pull a piece of equipment that's shiny, even if it's a common, you're like, oh, this would have been really cool if it was cold foil, but it's just a rainbow foil. So I don't even want to spend money on those packs. So I think they hit the perfect mark with Everfest of high rarity cards with your full art majestics that are rainbow foil, your additional cold foil cards. The value of some of the cards is better than the last couple sets. I mean, they made some power cards, but your Glooming, your Revel, your Runics, and Shine are good value majestic cards. I really think they hit the mark there, and I think that's hopefully the model. They're going something towards that with Everfest.
Yeah, I think one of the things we talked about that in the one chat was I hope would be that if they move away from having first edition and unlimited, that they use the cold foils as just another rarity, similar to like the extended arts. So they would still produce like legendaries, but then basically the rarity comparison of like a shiny Herald of Erudition to a full art Herald of Erudition, or a shiny Channel Lake Frigid to an alt art Channel Lake Frigid, would basically be the same rarity differential between like a rainbow foil legendary and a cold foil. So that way cold foils still hold, because cold foils are a part of like how they create rarity in this game. That's something that they've absolutely set as something that's a standard. That's why they give away cold foils at armories and cold foil heroes and cold foil, gold foils, and like that type of foiling is something that they like as a rarity. And I would just hope that they would find a way to make it so it's still a higher rarity card versus just saying, well, now all equipment comes in cold foil, because then it, like, to me, it's kind of weird then, because it's like, well, now cold foil isn't as special anymore because it's all you can get the equipment in. But if they created, say, like in Everfest, you could get the stalagmite in rainbow foil was the normal, like, common rarity of it, but then they created it also as like a cold foil alternate, like one in every X versions of that stalagmite now would come in a cold foil. It's a higher rarity card that creates more value.
Yep, that'd be cool. I'd be down for that.
What I forget the name of it. What would you guys think of them doing like what Magic did, where they every
Collector
you know
booster.
10,
Collector boosters.
yeah, $10 to $15 packs. They're all shine. I would
I'd be
love
fine
that.
with that.
Yeah, I mean that creates another product. So I mean, I'd be curious how they would manage it, but that'd be another one where you could say, hey, everything in here is rainbow foil, but then one in every, like, create like a Fable rarity where one in every 900 packs there's a legendary that's cold foil. So you can it it creates another location for some of this stuff, or just a, I don't know, like they can use it as a way to
Pull
like
tabs
create
and
more.
cards.
Yeah, that's basically what it is, right? Collector boosters are
Or
pull
it's just
tabs.
like, or it's just you. It's a great way to show people you have an issue. Like every time Rob and I are in the same shop, we're always like, yeah, let's go buy a collector's booster and crack them together. Yeah, okay. So, I actually have my most recent Rob collector booster crack here from Kamigawa.
Yeah,
For
I think
I
the
don't
best
play the game. I don't have it. I just gambling. That's it.
I mean, the best part about them is, when you open the dud, you got to go buy a second one because you'd never lose money until you quit.
You haven't you haven't lost money until you've stopped.
Yep.
That's yeah.
So we've never stopped, so we're just never losing money. This is great.
This is nothing but profit.
You're just down. You can be down, but you haven't lost money yet.
Right.
Right. Yep.
It's not realized gains or
Right. Yeah.
it's unrealized losses.
Yep.
There's a reason I didn't go to the calling in Vegas, guys.
You'd have done the Adam and just stand there sliding $100 bills into the slot machine while everyone's trying to figure out where to go stand.
Oh God, no, I'm not.
All high.
Yeah, I did a whole
around. We can't find him.
$40 in gambling in Vegas. I did two $20 tickets where I picked some random NFL teams and hoped they'd all succeed in my picks, and they did not. So there was my $40 gambling in Vegas.
You know what? You lost less money than Calvin Ridley did with his NFL.
Yeah, Bates got me when we were in Cincinnati, which was an amazing trip, by the way. He got me into trying bubble craps, and I did that for about an hour, and I was like, cool. Thanks for letting me gamble with your guys' money. That was fun to learn, and I'm out.
He and Pat love bubble craps.
Look, craps is. That's the reason why I didn't go in the casinos, because I do love craps, and I could spend some time at the craps tables. Absolutely love that game. Best odds in the casino.
Don't get me wrong. I love craps.
Still can lose.
Too. love me a good craps session.
And then I love hating on the one person that's playing the don't pass line and just everybody boos them until they leave. Like, don't be against the crowd, okay? Don't be that asshole. Surprisingly, it's not me that's doing that.
What was the other thing? We were going to talk.
The print runs are done already for Tales of Aria.
Yeah, they're out of print
already, which is an interesting. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that.
I just think that's a phase 2 thing. It wouldn't surprise me if there isn't something where they reprint some of that stuff or they print more of it. But I think they're trying to figure out, we kind of talked about this. One of the interesting things about where the game is right now is it's coming close to that big marker. So this year will be year 3, like the next anniversary of this game will be the 3rd anniversary of the game. Generally in TCGs, they talk about like 3, 5, 10 and beyond is kind of how they talk about. And it's important for games to get to 3 and be strong, 5 to be strong, 10 to be strong, and then they live. Any game before like the 10-year mark is still kind of in a weird spot. But 3 and 5 years are where you'd like to see the game be in a good spot. And I think they've hit that spot now where they have to decide what is going to be their standard for distribution and rarity and power level. And a lot of that stuff needs to be figured out because the game is growing very quickly. Like you can see how quickly it's growing through the print run numbers by themselves. Because what was it, 30,000 displays of the first couple sets and then 100,000 more of Monarch?
Yeah, it's grown quite a bit.
I mean, growing that much that's a lot of growth in 2 years.
Yeah, because we were talking, you said, Blake, that there's 27,000 registered gem IDs with
Yeah.
XP.
Yep, that have XP lifetime. Yep.
XT lifetime. So, and we figured the player base, if you take your just casual players, maybe 2 to 3 times. I don't know. That's just an absolute shot in the dark ballpark. I don't know where you'd figure that. That's just what I would figure is like, because there is casual card games that I have as well. And a lot of people do
kitchen
that.
table games.
Yep. So you might have a player base of 80 to 100,000 people maybe for the game. Or do you think that's too high?
Probably too high.
That's probably too high. But I mean, you have to figure in there's
60, 70.
maybe, I mean, 60 to 70. I could believe anywhere from 60 to 80, like somewhere in there.
At the highest high.
Yeah, the highest high, but also keeping in mind that there are people who are collectors who don't actually play the game, or maybe aren't even registered, actual players. Like they've played the game, but they don't play registered, gem account.
And honestly, like there's a whole consumer base that is just sort of sunny day consumers where it's like they're in and out of different games. Like people that they play for 2 months and they don't play for 9, and then they pick stuff up, and it's just super casual and they bounce around, and that's a whole other market that is not us, right? So
but I think the game is in a really good spot right now, and I think they're just trying to figure it out, which is part of the because I don't think you can actively be printing a game while like reorganizing your distribution model. You have to basically say, okay, we're done printing these sets, so we know how much exists, and we have a hard and fast line. And they're also not spending money at the printer printing sets that aren't a part of phase 2.
No, because I think this phase 2, I'm going to tell you why I'm super excited for. The classic battles got me pumped. I'm like, okay, I like that. I like that a lot. I like that.
Yeah.
Give me a reason to spend a little extra money while I'm sitting there waiting for my next round to go. I'm like, screw it, I'm buying a box. Like that's what I want. That's you like a card game that makes you just, from a business standpoint, just makes me spend $15-20 for no reason, but I want whatever is sitting in front of me. I like it. I really hope that eventually they go to, when they do these, that there is a chase card in each box, like they did with a lot of games, just where you get a random majestic in your box. You don't know what it is. Everyone comes with a majestic, and it could be one of the good ones. It might be an average one. I like that they have stuff for May 6th with the question marks. Maybe it's going to come out and it'll be like the Errata and be like, we don't have anything for you. We just put this there. We're not releasing anything. There's nothing released. But I'm guessing it's not going to say that. Something's going to pop up there soon, because we're a month away from that 3 question marks. And then you have the standalone booster, the October, November. So there's a lot of fun stuff coming, and I am excited for that.
So the thing I really like about the classic battles is, at least my hope for the reason I will like it, is because the deck's power levels will be pretty level and pretty similar to one another. I think one of the issues that the game is presenting right now is some of the starters, like the Blitz starters, are really good, and some of them are really bad. Like Prisms is bad. Like it is there's a reason Luminaris is the best weapon in the a lot of people would argue potentially in the entire game. So to build a deck around not the best weapon for a hero is pretty rough. Like when people are trying to figure out how to play the game.
Well, I mean, the Briar deck that has Rosetta Thorn, and that's not a great weapon. Wait,
so average. Yeah, but it's like I hope that the classic battles present that. The other bit, mainly because one of the biggest issues, we're all buyers of games where it's like, oh, you know what, this seems interesting, I'll check it out, I'll buy a couple starters. Now, granted, we are probably not in the group of people who go in blind. Jason was like, yeah, I bought Blood Bowl, and 4 months later we have a league, and we all have papers or screenshots on our phone with defensive alignments and offensive alignments, because we're all obsessed with compulsive maniacs.
I've painted more miniatures in those 3 weeks than I've painted in the previous 2 years of my life.
Exactly. Yeah. All 3 of us
done.
all three of us have painted multiple teams, like, because we're insane. But
I've also got my Crisis Protocol team painted too. Whenever we decide to get back to that
Whenever we
game that
decide-
Jason
yeah.
drug us into, so
That'll
or that
happen.
YouTube
I
drug me
haven't
into.
painted that for a while either. But I think the issue with like a lot of the starters is they're random, so people just buy whatever appeals to them.
Just like
Visual.
30 Crisis Protocol.
Like, but visually they just pick whatever they like, so there's no guarantee at the power level, and I think that actually like can sometimes dissuade people from playing a game. It's playing a game where they feel like two heroes power levels are so drastically different. It's like, I bought starter decks, they should be fine to run into each other.
Yeah.
And then you play Bolton into Prism and you just get railroaded by Bolton. It's like, that deck is way better than my deck. Like, is this how the whole game is? Is it all wonky? But typically, if you're going to play a game, you don't just buy a starter. Like, you go with a buddy or somebody and you're like, hey, let's both buy a starter. And the shop can go, well, this is an excellent spot to start. It's got a lore book inside that breaks down the game a little bit, tells you the history of it. It's got a little mat that shows you, a little fold-out mat, like it's a piece of paper like every other game has, so it's no big deal.
Whoa. I'm already sold. You don't have to sell me on it. I'm buying it. I'm probably buying two.
Stop. I can only get so hard.
Stop.
Like,
I like it as a starter. I like that as like the starting point, and I hope they do more of that where they like pair two evenly matched heroes versus random like blitz decks, because a lot of your player base, they don't even buy the blitz decks.
you know what I love most about these? I love the lore book, because you want to know something that I genuinely miss, and I think about it sometimes, and I'm just like, God, that was kind of like the good old days a little bit. I loved getting like a game for Christmas, like an Xbox game or what PlayStation game or whatever it is, and like not being able to play it because you got it from your grandma and you're at grandma's house or whatever, but it came with that little book and you could read about like the story or like like that doesn't exist anymore. And if it is, it's a little QR code that you just scan and look on your phone anyways.
No,
that's Google it.
It's a true fact.
Like, I love that little book that you'd be like, oh, fuck yeah, dude, I'm going to read about the Republic.
I forgot about
Commandos.
that.
Like, yeah, it's a fucking awesome thing.
That was good. I forget.
I like the fact that I'm going to get a little book. I'm going to get to read about these fucking...
Well, because what did you do with that book if it wasn't at Christmas? On the car ride home from the store, that is what you engulfed your life with for that 15-20 minute ride home.
If it was a game that I was super into...
Yeah,
I would bring it to school. I'd bring the book to school to show people. I remember distinctly doing that with Star Wars Republic Commando, being like, guys, this thing, let me tell you what, I was like a fucking sidewalk preacher in the hallways of my junior high.
Yeah, I love that they did the lore book too, because that also appeals to another subset of people who will be into the game and interested, but also are interested about the characters they're playing. Because that's one of the big things that Fab sometimes does have as a hurdle to jump over, is people don't naturally identify with anybody. When we played Dragon Ball, it was just like, I'm just going to play. Jason played Frieza because he just liked Frieza, right? Like that was I just wanted to play.
He's hilarious though.
He's
great asshole.
I love Frieza. Actually, he's like
Frieza.
But it's like I was immediately always drawn to like any deck that had to do with Vegeta because I love Vegeta. And that's the nature of people with things that have IPs. And Fab, how do they overcome that hurdle? Oh, well, if you want to know more about them, go on their website and read. No, man, give me a book. I want to flip through a little book, because you can open it at the shop and sit there and thumb through it while you're looking at the cards, and that's what people do, right? You buy stuff like that, and you start to just open it and look at everything inside to try and figure it out. And I think Fab is in a good place, and I'm excited to see like what the phase 2 looks like as far as like how they're going to distribute it and
their Netflix show, like all that stuff. It's all gonna be great.
Yeah,
it's all part of it.
Just if they could stop with the on the nose names, that's just bugs me so.
I actually love the on the nose names. God.
I think it's hilarious. I find great humor in it personally. I really do.
I mean, if you just look at the last, a Leviathan. The Prism with the illusions.
What kind of name is Prism? Prism is literally just a thing. It's a noun.
Yeah, if you think about like, are you serious right now? Or are you messing with me?
No, I'm being serious. Like a prism.
No, so like you take a prism glass, and you shine. Like if you see a prism, it looks like an illusion, and she's an illusionist.
No, I am with you. I was there from the beginning. I'm with you. Like, looking at these names, they're very on the nose.
Yes, they are.
I
100%
I
Messed with
do.
me.
No, I was being serious. I was genuinely agreeing. Yes, it's very.
Yeah, I
on the
can't
nose.
tell sometimes. Can't tell. Like me and Blake got in an argument earlier, and we were on the same side.
Yeah, we were arguing
we're all
with each
kind of
other
that.
on the same side.
We do that sometimes. There was an argument, like not an argument. Robert and Blake were getting into it in like our other group chat, and they were. I could tell reading their messages back and forth. I'm like, Robert's angry, but not at Blake. But Blake is taking this as if Robert is yelling at him, and Blake's getting angry back, and Robert's not picking up that Blake's angry with him. It was a very entertaining read. Sure,
Maybe we should
everyone
just
appreciates
post
it.
those in the comments, like some of the group chat. Like, here you go. Last 3 minutes, just read through.
You want to see what fucking just anger-filled idiots you have subscribed to?
Well, that's why I'm not in as many group chats anymore. Even our new Discord that was made, I left as soon as the announcement. I was like, okay, I'm out. There's too much. There's too much going on here.
Mm-hmm.
I can't not read it and then get pissed off at stuff. So I'm like, I'm just gonna leave. Just gonna exit stage left while it's all safe.
Yep. I have time. I have time allotments. Like Facebook, I'm gonna read the Facebook fan page for like this half hour of my day, and that's it. But no, like, but speaking about like IPs and stuff like that, I just had one thought. It was like Prism. I love Prism because I'm a big Brandon Sanderson fan, and she reminds me of Lightweavers, and I just like the illusionist thing is super fucking cool to me. I've always thought that was really awesome, and yeah, that's the one connection, and then I just like clung to it. How attachments form like that. We just need some background. Just need some info. Give me that lore. Give me that sweet, sweet lore.
What else you guys got?
We're at 50 minutes. I'm fine calling her.
Talked about the print run. Yeah.
So the only thing we didn't talk about, and I'm curious your guys' thoughts on this, was kind of the chaos of the ban restricted announcement, because everybody immediately did math on the events, and then people started pointing out that certain events weren't constructed, so the math wasn't there for Starvo the Living Legend, even though they referenced it. And then all of a sudden there was like a new article with a new date added, and then another updated article with a new date added, and then another article, and then a completely separate battle hardened article. And it was like, okay, I think Andrew said it best on Dice Commando. Andrew had a thing about this where he said it's kind of it kind of comes from the double-edged sword that LSS has created, right? We give them a lot of like rope because we're like, hey, they're a small company. So sometimes it's hard to respond to everything, or it's hard to do everything. The problem is the argument of they're a small company is kind of counterproductive in this state, because you shouldn't have a communication issue if you're not a big company. It shouldn't be hard to communicate when you can literally walk into the other room and be like, hey, did you update that article? Versus when you have to send 9 emails to reach out to 4 departments to get a hold of somebody to get information to compile it all at once. So that chaos was a little, I wasn't really that bothered by it or anything. It was just a little funny that there was so much chaos surrounding all of a sudden, because I think Nick Butcher posted, he's like, well, man, if Bravo wins this event, it's going to be incredible because it's Blitz. So if Starvo wins, there's some weird stuff going on at that event, and then like legality issues, for what cards people are allowed to play. And it's like, yeah, wait, why did they list that if they're Blitz events? And then it was just kind of chaos for like 30 minutes. It was just kind of a madhouse, and then it all kind of settled out.
I love chaos. So
I read it all and didn't get all I figured something was going to come, or that they just had other CC events, like, a lot of times they'll have mixed events. So like to me I was like, oh, okay. Well, and then it was sorted out with the next article, like an hour after the chaos ensued.
Yeah.
I do want to say I just saw that what's going to be the back of the Taylor card, because they have it on their site. So I just pulled it up.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. It's unbelievably good. Like, it's really, really good art. And she's got a corgi. I never would have expected a corgi and Arya. Is that as bad as the big top tent? Yeah. Well, what's worse, a corgi or a big top tent?
You should be offended, Jason. This is your opportunity to be offended about your
shapeshifter.
perception
Why does she
of
have a
the
bitch ass
world.
little corgi dog? Get a real dog, Taylor. Get a real dog. Or you gonna put it in your little purse and take it around? Oh, I'm a little seamstress. Look at my little corgi. No, get a real dog.
Corgis are fucking awesome. Ever since Cowboy Bebop, corgis have been amazing dogs. So you're not gonna win
Everybody
this one
likes
with me. Yeah.
Everybody likes corgis.
How could anyone
I would
not?
just like to see.
I wonder how many
tougher dog.
corgis exist that are named Einstein. Just out of curiosity, I wonder if I could do like a poll, or if like the canine club or whatever the fuck it's called.
There's a lot going on in the art of this picture that I'm sure
trying to pull it
people
up right now,
like.
yeah.
I would
where is
explore it.
What am I missing?
I would explore it, but
He's just not gonna answer us. Dude,
Yeah, he's gonna make.
it's on their website under articles, and now it's also in the group chat.
Okay, it didn't. It totally didn't pop up for me. Yeah, it's like a little fat corgi too.
Yeah, I mean, she's
Cool.
feeding it too much. Like, seriously, take care of your
Yeah.
dog. I hate people that overfeed their dogs.
That's a pretty standard corgi, but you guys, I don't know if you guys have seen a lot
looks
of
a little
corgis.
round in the
It's a
midsection.
little extra round. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It could be a little.
She could take it for a walk. She's
her a walk
obviously
or two.
taking care of herself. You know. Do you think she is doing this dress for herself, or is she doing it for somebody else?
Probably Fiendal.
Well, maybe she turns herself into her, because shapeshifting, that's like the ultimate, spy.
Now I gotta
espionage.
look. What else is happening here? It's a dope sewing machine.
There's 3 witches in hats, or just weird hats. Oh, these are the cosplay hats that Dane doesn't want handed out by LSS.
Yeah, I'd rather it be a cool cold foil card for sure.
There's a bunch
Oh, we
of
got
gems. Oh man.
Marriage.
Oh, man. Well, there's a bunch of just random symbols. So now we need somebody to come in with
There is a lot of symbols.
Where are you seeing the symbols?
on the shelf. There's a bunch of the different like letters and stuff. Symbols. Like I don't know what those are. What are they? I need answers.
All right.
This is why this is what community is great for. We let them figure this out, and we'll talk about it after they digest this.
All right, look, the only thing that bothers me is that she's got a dream catcher. Why does she have a dream catcher? What's up?
Yeah.
with the dream
Art?
catcher?
Are you guys looking at? Oh, I see it in the back in the middle top now.
Yeah, up on top.
Literally directly above her head, there's a dream catcher.
All right.
Also, does she have a lemon tree inside? What's up with
I'll
that?
be totally honest. I still
Is that lemons? Is that a lemon tree?
All right,
I don't
guys.
know what it is.
Well, on this note, be sure to check out this photo. It's super dope. Lots going on. But thanks for joining us this week. Appreciate all of you for sticking around, and hope you enjoyed more lighthearted, fun podcast where we didn't get at each other too much. It'll happen.
We'll try to next time.
We'll do it again. But be sure to like and subscribe, and have a great weekend. And we will talk to you all next week. Peace.